Hello, everyone. Marvel DC Fan here on the Archive channel. This is kind of weird because I'm doing a bonus video for this channel and just kind of sneaking it in to the playlist here. I mean, I've done videos like this before. Like I talked about when the shadow mode for Batman Telltale came out. I took a look at that blind because I never played the shadow mode before and didn't really have a clue what, how that worked. So, and I did this for Destroy All Humans also. I've looked at the remastered or the re-release version that they did for PS4, not the remake, but the first re-release, I should say. But yeah, now we're back again, and we're going to be going over the footage I have for Spider-Man Remastered. Now, I should clarify that this is not my footage at all. This is actually Swifty's footage. Who is a fellow co-host of the Speaking Art podcast and a really good friend of mine. He had a PS5, and well, it technically was his brother's, but he plays on it a lot. Or they just kind of share it. But I didn't have a PS5 at the time, and I wanted to get some footage for Spider-Man Remastered and talk about it a little bit. And he swooped in and saved the day while I was in the middle of editing it. And yeah, he sent me the title screen. He sent me the story bits, which is what we're going to be talking over, and he also sent me some free roam, which I used in the video. Mostly just using the hybrid suit from, or I think it's called the hybrid suit. It's from No Way Home, but yeah, it's great. He just saved my ass from that. So. But, yeah, so, but yeah, this, footage, I figured, because I had it on me, and because I was coming up with the Archive channel while I was working on the Marvel Spider-Man review, I figured it'd be fun if, if I kind of just did a bonus video. Originally, I was just going to post this after everything else was uploaded, but I figured because between like the end of September when I was going through and uploading things, I decided to just use the footage he gave me and do kind of like an extra video over it. So that's what we're doing now. But I am extremely late on this because I mean, for one thing, I have a PS5 now, and I'm able to play Spider-Man Remastered. And also, I just kind of got burnt out of uploading archive videos, so hopefully I can get back to more of that. But I figured, because I was uploading these videos on November 3rd, it'd be fun to kind of squeak in and talk about it. So, yeah, before I get into my experience with it, I kind of just wanted to talk about the history of Spider-Man Remastered, which was initially a PS5 launch game, and now it's on PC, which is super weird to think about, because you don't really associate Sony with, PC gaming, but, they've been doing that lately with God of War, Horizon, Uncharted, and I think they also did Days Gone too. So and now the Spider-Man games, both this and Miles Morales, which is coming out in November, or later this month, I should say. I still think I'm in October. So but yeah, this was announced it was announced shortly, it was a couple months before Miles Morales came out. And this was essentially advertised as basically just an expansion, or at least an expansion to an expansion, because you could buy this with the Ultimate Edition, of Miles Morales, which was basically because Miles Morales was a $50 game, and it basically bumped it up another another $20 or $30. So not only did you get essentially, not only were you able to play the Miles Morales, which was like a smaller game, but also you could play this and have it work on PlayStation 5 and whatnot. So yeah. And I remember a lot of people were not interested initially. I mean, for various reasons. But the thing is that for PlayStation 5, you were able to play PlayStation 4 games via backwards compatibility. So the fact that essentially they were charging for this game again, which admittedly was not much. I mean, they weren't just making this another full price game along with it. Which they did do for the PC version, but that's a different story. but also too, it's just like there were some things right off the bat that people were not interested in. The main thing being the face model swap, which that was a time to be alive in. And I mean, we actually talked about it on the podcast. It was episode 2 of the podcast relaunch. So that was that was an interesting discussion to be had. But yeah, like that was shortly after the game was at the State of Play, Miles Morales. They did a whole State of Play gameplay demo, and they announced the fact that the remaster was happening, but I think it was a week or so later that they actually showed off what, some details on it itself. And I think for the most part, they just kind of left it at that, because they wanted all the attention on Miles Morales and not so much the fact that the first game was coming to PS5. But yeah, they showed off some screenshots. They showed off one of the suits that was coming, which was the Amazing Spider-Man suit. And they showed off the fact that Peter's face completely swapped to somebody else. Now I will say the first model of John Bumniak was a really good representation of Peter Parker as like an early 20s Peter. He definitely looked the part, and the face model for that still looks great to this day. But now they were switching over to Ben Jordan, and I mean their reasons were very technical. For instance, they mentioned the fact that because Yuri Lowenthal, who voiced Spider-Man, he was doing the kind of he did the voice act in the motion capture, so they wanted somebody to kind of line up more with Yuri's performance. Which part of me was just, thinking about it now, seems a little far-fetched, especially because Ben Jordan, if you really squinted your eyes, just going off of the reveal photo, if you really squinted your eyes, he looked a hell of a lot like Tom Holland. So a lot of people felt they were partly just going on the whole brand synergy thing that Marvel's been doing with all their properties and whatnot. So yeah, that was kind of a turn-off for a lot of people. Oh yeah, one thing I want to mention is that for this footage here, what essentially is going on is that Swifty recorded these all with the internal recording software that the PlayStation 5 uses. So he got all the footage and basically just edited it together, because they all upload to the PlayStation app. So he just got it all, the footage all from there, and edited it all together and sent it to me, which was very, very nice of him. But yeah, back to the model or the face, whatever. So yeah, it was a weird thing going in and playing the remaster for a lot of people because they didn't expect to really like it, especially because the model itself. He seemed like he was too young, like he was around Miles' age and whatnot. But I think for me initially, and we talked about it before, like I was initially angry at this. Like I was very upset by the whole situation. But in the months since then, and especially after playing Miles, like I think it's fine now. I don't, I don't dislike it or anything. So, like it doesn't bother me anymore, and I'm fine with it. So, part of me still does prefer like Peter Parker when it comes to thinking about the Insomniac Spider-Man, but like I have no problems with Ben Jordan's overall look. So yeah, now but yeah, another thing, one of the things that really like around its release that really made me want to play it. First of all, I mean they were going on about ray tracing, which to their credit does look really great in the game. All the reflective surfaces and whatnot is such a is a weird thing to see, and also it looks fantastic at the same time. Since the PC version came out, it's not as good as that, but it still works really impressively well. So the other thing was being able to play Spider-Man in 60 frames per second, which now since I've played it is so jarring to me. It is so strange seeing the game run at like a very high and smooth frame rate. It does I've barely noticed any chugging or whatnot, but those two things really won me over. It made me really excited to play, or maybe really want to play it. So, for 2 years, I didn't have a PS5, and I was really bugging out. Not to say that the original game is bad or anything, but those small things make this pretty much the de facto version to play. So. If I were you, just get if you're insistent on buying the Ultimate Edition of Miles, then try to go for it on sale. If you can buy this for $50, if you buy the Ultimate version for $50, you're basically golden. But yeah. Talking about my experiences now, or just kind of getting into it. So for me, playing it now, I think it is true that it is the best way to play the game. I haven't beaten it yet. I've been slowly working my way through it through a New Game Plus run. Because originally I was gonna move the save over, get all the trophies, and then do a new run from scratch. And then I remembered, well, going for upgrades, that's kind of a pain in the ass. So what I should do is that I'll keep my 100% file, and then just play New Game Plus, and it'll be this basically the same thing, and I can still work on my benchmarks and whatnot if I ever feel like getting around to that. So yeah, I started a New Game Plus run, and as far as I've gotten to at least the second act of the game, but yeah, I'm taking my time with it because I'm planning on 100%ing Miles and or not 100%ing the remaster in that New Game Plus run, and yeah, just doing it like that. And then after I'm done with that, I'm gonna move on to Miles, and basically just do the same thing there. So, but just getting into it, like, initially was it was pretty great playing it. I had so much fun going through and essentially, like, just going through and playing the game again at a very high frame rate, and it was a little weird seeing the updated graphics, because that was another thing that they mentioned in, like, the pre-release stuff, or at least, like, the not so much them, but like the websites like IGN and whatnot. They mentioned playing like they had upgraded hair and teeth like models, and also textures was nicer too. You're not really thinking about that when you're playing through, but some things do look kind of better, like the hair and stuff on models does look really, really nice and great. But other stuff you barely notice much of a difference at all. I don't know what's going on. It's there. But yeah, it was kind of it was an interesting thing, like, just hearing that stuff. And I feel like so far from what I've played, there's there are changes for sure. Like one of the things I noticed right off the bat is that they keep Miles's control scheme. So, like, L1 basically does nothing, and R1 is not only your web firing button, but also, like, activates the weapon wheel, which thankfully you can switch back to in in the game. You can just switch it back to L1, which I think is really nice. Because having all of it on R1 for Spider-Man Remastered is just kind of weird. It works for Miles because L1 does something, but I do like that they had both those options there. One improvement I like over the original game was doing tricks. Now, there's not many animations, so that's pretty much kept in from the original, and but the tricks are now on square, which feels a lot more comfortable than holding in circle and triangle together. So. Yeah, this is better. Gotta say too, the shorter load times is just a sight to see. I love the shorter load times. Like, it's incredibly jarring, especially for somebody who's gotten so used to, like, the train loading sequences and stuff, the load screens. And those, those take quite a while to get through. So the fact that I can just, start the game, select my save, hit continue, and then just be loaded into the map instantaneously is incredible. And that's one of the things I really like about this generation so far from what I played, is, like, little to no load times. Because Gotham, like, out of all the games I played, because Gotham Knights doesn't really have long load times. Destroy All Humans 2 had, like, had load times. They weren't, like, overly long or anything. They felt like they were plentiful. It's not like you're waiting at you 40 seconds just for your game to load up. But yeah, as far as games go, like first party games are really like nice to see all the enhancements and stuff for. It's great. So it makes me really excited for the first party games coming like down the pipeline, like Marvel Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine also. So like I just can't wait to see how that all unfolds and stuff. It like so. Yeah, even though I'm not really big on the price tag, you know, you just gotta go with it, I guess. Yeah, like as far as games I'm really excited to play, one that's coming out this month, which I cannot wait for, is God of War Ragnarok, which should be a fucking like fantastic time. Hopefully I don't get burned out playing it, because I did the first God of War recently for a Let's Play, which will be uploaded here at some point in the near future. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, it's great. I haven't played this game on PC yet. Mainly because my PC setup is not great when it comes to games, you know, quality like this. But that'll be interesting to play through. But yeah, this is going to be it for this bonus part of Spider-Man. I knew I had to throw that image in just to fuck with people. But yeah, I am really excited to see like, you know, where the Spider-Man franchise goes, and yeah. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, everyone, and be sure to stay tuned for all the other videos that'll be uploaded at a later date for the archive channel, all the old LPs. So, and all the more recent ones, except for what I've been doing with the playthrough channel. That's not coming to the archive channel, if I didn't make that clear. But anyway, have a great night. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves. See ya.